and welcome to the Midweek Conversations. We're back to our virtual format. It's kind of fun. We get to be in our own cozy places. It's kind of fun. And how are you doing today, Dennis?
I am
Yes.
well,
Yeah, that's
Angelica. Is that how we're doing it today?
yeah,
We're saying one another's name?
yeah. Well, because it's like a little more interesting than being like, "Hello, I am."
That's true. It is
Yeah.
more interesting.
hmm
And what
And
was
most of our
really
names are
interesting,
there
oh,
in
oh
there.
yeah, there are the names.
Yeah.
There,
Actually, I
my,
don't know where they're gonna be.
yeah. He might even crop them out, who knows? But um, we were just joking about the size of Angelica's huge water mug. Wait, put it up to the when I first saw it, yeah, it looked like it was about a 3-gallon
I
thing.
was like
Oh
drinking.
yeah, right like that. The camera kind of skews
Not
everything.
even that serious. He's being dramatic.
I'm being so. Does that? Can you read that it says life is good?
Oh yeah, you can read that.
Oh, so on mine it's backwards. I don't know what people see,
No,
but
no, it says life is good.
so you can see it that way. I wonder
Yeah.
when this is recorded what people see. So
Well, he can
anyway,
flip it.
I love the like this. Do what you like what you do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's my fave. So
I think yeah, that's a fave. That's a fave mug right there. What are you drinking? Are you drinking coffee?
I was drinking coffee, and that's what's left.
You faker.
No, I took the last sip. See my
Okay.
tongue? It's brown. So,
So,
we started a new series this week.
totally. We started a new series on a book that's, arguably one of the easiest books to go through. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh,
No,
what was I thinking?
one of the hardest books, Revelation.
I've been considering this for months,
Mhm.
and then it's like, okay, it's time to just go for it.
Uh-huh. Just
Yeah.
do it. He's been talking about this off camera, like, every single day of his life.
And I was thinking about starting it in
Oh, yeah,
September,
you
but
can
then
read
I
that.
thought, oh, you know what? I've let's just
No,
jump
no,
into
it
it.
it says life honestly, is because
Yeah.
starting it when it's cold and wintry might not
Yeah.
be the best idea, because everybody's mindset will be
Well,
like,
he can
"Oh,
flip it.
no, we're gonna go talk about doom and gloom," but
It's
starting
not
it in
doom and
summer is
gloom.
like, "Wait, I don't
I
know,
think, yeah, that's
joyful."
a Okay, well, I think it's a joyful book. It's not, and the way people interpret it, it's doom and gloom, or the way that
Yeah,
the culture represents it, it's doom and gloom.
mhm.
But
I
yeah,
think it's a joyful book. That is quoting Revelation. That's funny. You're gonna have to explain that, I feel like.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
like when we get to the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah. Oh, joy, joy, joy.
Well, it's certainly it leads up to joy.
Mhm.
Let's say that, and
Yeah.
it was intended to bring joy to those who were reading.
Mm.
Or those who are hearing it. I just came across an interesting number that only somewhere between 5 and 15% of the people who originally heard this book were literate. And that's
Oh.
why at the very beginning of the book it says, blessed or blessed is the one who reads this book, because they were reading it to others. They were bringing this information to other people, uh,
Oh.
the majority of whom were not able to read for themselves, nor would they be able to own a copy of it. But
Right.
so, yeah, so happy, blessed, Makarios are those who read it and those who hear it. And
Totally.
yeah,
Yeah, I like the Bible app for that reason, because sometimes I just like to listen to it being read, because it makes me feel like that was how it was that's how the early Christians were receiving it in a lot of times.
right, an oral tradition,
Yeah, it's, like,
written,
kind of
but
nice.
most people had it orally. Yeah,
Mhm. It definitely gets you to think about stuff a little differently. I think you'll hear it differently, because I think sometimes when you're in the habit of reading, you, like, read it and then you write about it, it's, like, very scholarly, like, you're doing it in a way of, like, I'm reading this to find the facts or whatever, but then when you're gonna sit and listen to it, it's like in our culture, when we sit and listen to something, it's like music or
right,
something.
right,
So, like, your mind and your whole self can kind of be like, "Oh, I'm receiving this in a different way." It's kind of like a pleasant thing to listen to actually, when you think about it. Yeah.
right. and that was the point, that, I think it's Bruce Metzger who makes the point that it's to be read with the imagination,
Mhm.
uh, and that it's an imaginative, uh, delivery of this.
Mhm.
And so we should receive it as such. And, the other thing that I I think I mentioned it yesterday, but I reread that, this morning when I came across the number of, or the percentage of people who were not literate who were hearing this, that, it was always always delivered in whole. The whole thing was read,
Mm.
and, we are not used to that in our culture.
Mm-mm.
But so do you have a favorite app that reads the Bible to you?
Just the Bible app. I just read the Bible app. But if I wanna, like, hear it in a different language, like a language that I'm studying, I'll just go look it up on YouTube. Because a lot of times people have, like, posted, and I think that that's pretty.
Mhm.
So, yeah, those
Yeah,
are some locations.
yeah.
But
I
yeah.
like when I scroll through the, BibleGateway.com, that
Uh-huh.
you can scroll through the versions, and it has a little, speaker icon there to let you know that you could listen to this particular, version
Yeah, I like those too.
read, and
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. Bible Gateway is cool. The Bible app is cool. Finding it on YouTube is cool. And that's another thing. Like, there's a ton of ways that we can receive the Bible, and we're so lucky, honestly.
right.
There's, like, it's no excuse to just go listen to it. You can be doing other things, you can be washing dishes or whatever, but, you know, go receive that word, especially Revelation. Like, I think that as we're going into this series, like, I was thinking to myself, I wanna go pick up, like, because 'cause I've read it, and of course I've talked about it, and I've thought about it intellectually, but I wanna go read it again and get, like, a commentary, pick up a different one, just to think about it as we're going into it, because it's, like, such a dense book. Like, even saying, like, back in the day, they're hearing the whole thing at once, like, I guess they would be used to it, but for me, I'm like, "Okay, that had to be so much to remember, like, reading through the whole book at once, that I'm looking forward to being able to just go back and read it and listen to it and maybe hear some other scholars' opinions on it, and just, like, yeah, because you sent us off on Sunday with that, reminder too, to, like, not be afraid. Don't be afraid of the book. It even says it, like, plenty of times. One of the themes of the book is to not be afraid. So we're
Right.
not gonna be afraid of it, go explore it and be curious or whatever. So, yeah, that's what I've been thinking about lately too, so.
So, I guess one thing I'd say is don't overthink it,
No, no, no,
and
but I like to read.
let that imaginative part happen. So,
Yeah.
it is dense, like you said, it's dense with imagery, but so are
Mhm.
movies.
Yeah,
We're a very movie, media-driven culture right
that's
now, it
true.
seems. And, if we were to approach Revelation almost like a movie and just let all the scenes come at us, rather than, stopping and pausing and analyzing each and every scene,
Mhm.
but let what the director and the producers and the actors have put together, uh, hit hit you.
Totally.
And, to approach the book of Revelation in that way, to find one of the versions that you enjoy listening to,
Mhm.
and then just let it roll,
Yeah.
because, uh I want to analyze it, but I think that's not the way it's intended to be consumed. And we need to allow it to hit us at that level of the imagination. And so maybe I should, kind of double down on the importance of just hitting the button and putting on the headphones
Mhm.
and going someplace and just closing your eyes and visualizing this whole thing. I was thinking we should do it in a group, but then I'm like, oh, duh! I'm glad you mentioned, that there are all these recordings available out there,
Totally.
and we may as well make use of those.
Yeah.
I'll put that in my notes for next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think there's, like, a place for both, though? Because, like, even with film, like, if you're a film major, you go and analyze the film, like, scene by
Right.
scene.
Right, right,
And
of
then you get,
course.
like, the beauty of, like, but Yeah, so I guess there's, like yeah. Do you think you would do that first? You would first go and listen to the whole thing as intended, and then if you want, you can go back and analyze it, or do you analyze
That's
it first?
that's what I'm thinking. I mean, I don't think I've ever approached anything by analyzing it first, but a lot of times that's the way we approach it within the church, right? Sometimes
Totally.
it's the first time we ever hear it is in a message, and our messages tend to be very, very analytical,
Mhm.
and so we end up doing it that way. But
Yeah,
that's probably not the way we should start our messages.
true.
That's in the ancient church and a lot of traditions they lift up the reading of the word, and I love it when I'm in a more formal church and the priest carries in the word of God, and there's it's that whole pomp and circumstance, as it were,
Mhm.
and everyone stands for the reading. Now it's interesting, you couldn't stand for the reading of Revelation. I mean, you could, but it might be get a little tiring. But again, just that idea of we're preparing to hear this,
Mhm.
um, uh, and maybe we need to emphasize that more
Totally.
as a
I think
church.
I would. Otherwise, yeah, like, our I think maybe more of the instant thing is like, "Oh, I'm gonna go, like, analyze it,"
Yeah,
'cause
right. Yeah, so maybe the way we should approach this is we read a whole chapter at a time out loud, and then step back and look at a particular aspect.
totally.
And we're thinking out this message series right here.
Yeah,
Thanks.
right. Welcome, welcome to the behind the scenes.
Yeah. Put your comments down below and let us know what you think.
Yeah,
We'd love to see that.
that would be cool. That would
Was
be
there
cool.
anything that was said on Sunday that you'd like to
Ooh,
chat
let's
about?
see. Oh, I loved, like, going through the chain of, like, where so first it came from God, the revelation, the unveiling of the book came from God, then it went to Jesus, then it went to the angel, then it went to John, and then it went to us. I
Yeah.
just thought that was so fun. I
Well,
was like, "What?"
yeah. John makes a point of talking about it, so I thought I guess we're supposed to lift that up. But it's
Yeah,
like
like
here I'm going to take the cover off of this, and you
yeah,
get to see now.
totally.
Yeah.
And that he doesn't make yeah, it's like sometimes we can just be looking at who we're receiving the information from and forget who was actually the author of it or anything like that. So he's kind of like giving credit to like everyone involved. Like if we're using the movie analogy, it's like at the end, all of the artists and all of
Right.
the actors get credit. And
Right.
so he totally like gave credit to everyone. I thought that was so funny. I liked that. Um, that one was cool. Oh, yeah. Kind of we said it a little bit before about imagination, but apocalyptic literature speaks to our imagination. That was a new way of me understanding apocalyptic. Uh, it is, like, imaginative, but I've never actually, like, thought about it as, "Oh, yeah, you're using your imagination in this," but it's like a disciplined imagination, like you said.
Right.
And I thought that was, like that was also, like, oh, a disciplined imagination. Because all a lot of times when we think imagination, we're just thinking about, like, gumdrops and, like, unicorns and, like, floating around and yada yada, but really you can have a disciplined imagination. It's like a tool that God has ingrained us with to understand certain, like, elements of himself, certain stories that he's given us, so
Right. Do you ever watch DVDs anymore, or do you do
yeah,
everything
yeah.
streaming? So one of the nice things about DVDs, when in the extras they have a director's cut, and you get to listen to the director's perspective.
Mhm.
So you can watch it with your imagination, but you have a disciplined imagination because the director is explaining why they did something the way they did it,
Yeah.
and what they were trying to convey with that.
You know what's so funny? Me and my mom literally just watched the Pride and Prejudice director's cut last night.
Oh, really?
Yes, and then we watched the Emma one. That is so funny. That's hilarious, and it's super cool because and then they'll tell you things or they'll, like, reveal things that you didn't notice no matter how many times you watched the film.
Right.
You're like, "Wait a second, what? That's what you were doing?" Or like, "Oh, there was an intention behind, like, the color of her dress versus the color of the wall, like, it's so cool. Get, like, an inside scoop.
And there's the disciplined imagination. So
Yeah,
you're seeing these images coming at you, but now you're processing them in a little bit more
different
analytic
way.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Which enlivens the imagination then.
totally.
And
Because
I
then
think
you're, like,
that's the way
looking
we're
around
to
like
approach this book.
yeah, mhm,
Yeah. Yeah.
totally. Oh, and I also like this book informs our view of history and today, and so history and today being, like you were like, it's not only speaking to, like, this little snapshot in the past, it's also not only speaking to this snapshot in the future. It's, like, informing history now. Yeah, I thought that
Right.
was interesting.
Right. You know what I thought maybe was the most important point, was building off of that idea that our memories shape who we are, but also our expectations, our
Oh, yeah.
anticipations,
Mhm.
and having a discipline about curating the things that we anticipate, and allowing God's word, allowing the book of Revelation to unveil what we're anticipating, then changes how we behave in the present. I'm going to be building on that more on Sunday because this coming Sunday I'm already working on Sunday's message, and there's a word that's repeated. I think it's one, two, three, four, five, six or seven times, um, and it appears in uh, the very first verse of the book, and that is that these things are happening soon.
Mm.
And uh, if we don't understand the word soon properly, then we're going to discount the whole book, because if we just apply how we as a culture think about soon. Hey, I'll be there soon, and
Right.
the person doesn't come in the next 7 minutes. It's like, oh, that person's a jerk.
Right.
Um, and so if we do that, it's like, okay, this book was written when? It was written in 90 AD. Okay, well, this is
What's soon?
2024.
Yeah.
Come on. This is
True.
this is totally irrelevant because it's not real. It's not true. So uh, what is the way that the first readers would have heard that word? How
Mhm.
how did they receive that? And how should we receive that word for today?
Right.
So that's a big hurdle to get beyond
It
with a
is.
lot of prophetic and apocalyptic literature, because it it's this called the foreshortening of time.
Yeah.
So we have to look at that.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like when you go back and you hear phrases that people used in, like, the '50s that are, like, obsolete now,
yeah,
and it's like, if you use that, nobody would know what you're getting at, or even, like, regionally, like, "Oh, it's diagonal to me," or "It's cattywampus." I don't
yeah.
even know what that means, you know what I'm saying? But it's just those so if you're not even understanding the
I'm
language.
gonna write cattywampus down right now.
Do it, do it.
How do you spell
I
cattywampus?
don't even know. I don't
If you know,
know.
would you put that down in the
Yes,
comments, please, so we'll know how to put it up on screen?
cattywampus. I've heard that used before, and I'm always
Yes.
like, "Is that a
Yeah.
real word?"
Cattywampus and soon. Now, there we go. There we go. Hey, I wanted to mention something that we didn't talk about on Sunday, but it's coming up in the life of the church, and we have a woman by the name of Sue Ranger, and she is organizing a group called Thrive. And Thrive is learning how to love someone well in your life who is struggling with an addiction. A lot of times we look at someone who's struggling with an addiction and we think, well, that's their deal, that's their problem. But everyone is a part of a system, be it a family system or a friendship system or circle, uh, and everybody's affected. We all, our lives are intertwined, and Thrive helps those who are intertwined with someone who has addictive behaviors to to understand what it means to set boundaries, what it means to love that person and yourself and others well within that system, that family. Um, and I know Sue has grown a lot from the Thrive group that she's been a part of, and the organizers of Thrive have been training her to begin a group. So I just wanted to put it out there to everybody who might be watching that if you're interested in being a part of that group, you can reach out to Sue by just um, sending an email to thrive, THRIVE, thrive at riverhillschurch.org, not .com, but .org. And that will go to Sue, and you can let her know if you'd be interested in being a part of that. I think
Totally.
you didn't you, Angelica, attend some kind of an introductory group with her?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
me and my mom did. It was really cool.
Hmm.
She's a really compassionate, caring, intelligent woman, and
Hmm.
so, yeah, I'm excited about this.
Any takeaways? I mean, that you could share. I was
Um,
not a part of that.
yeah, I think definitely, what I thought was cool was that, it's a group about, like, supporting the people that aren't necessarily, like they aren't we're not the people who are struggling with the issue. We're the people who are trying to love on the individual who's struggling, and sometimes it can feel like, where's the support
Yeah,
system for, like, the sibling or the
yeah,
mom or the dad? And, yeah, so to have something like that and, all these people in the room, you know, we kind of have empathy for each other because of yeah. Anyway, it was just really cool because there's not often something directed towards those people, because the situation that that other person is in is so dire. So, to have, support is really cool. I
yeah,
was like, "Why isn't there more stuff like this? Like, why isn't this
exactly.
talked about more?" I
Yeah.
was it was cool.
Well, we're going to be lifting this up as a church, and
Totally.
the next step for this is a just a kind of a small core of people uh, who are interested in working with Sue and learning with Sue. That would be on Monday, June 17th. So it's coming up just 2 weeks from when we're recording this. Uh, so two weeks out. And again, if you want to find out more, just reach out to thrive at riverhillschurch.org.
Mhm.
So I think that's all we got for today.
Yes, that's all.
All right. Angelica, thanks for your time.
Thank
And
you.
everybody else, thanks for yours. I hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
You guys have a
Okay.
great week. Bye now.
Bye.